So, as I explained, the original culinary habit and culture that this Goryeo saram brought from their home is same as those of Yanbian Joseon족 people because they originated from same area, Hamgyong region in the Korean Peninsula. And like Joseon족, they brought rice cultivation to Russian Far East and Siberia. The Koreans were the only people and first people who started to grow rice in Manchuria, but also in Siberia. And that was done by these people. And at the same time, while they are bringing rice and other vegetables from Korea, they also adopted the Russian vegetables that Russians brought. And because of climate, certain vegetables they could not grow in the Russian Far East. So that brought some changes in their culinary habit. Now, first of all, some vegetables that they used to get in Hamgyong province were not available in Russian Far East. And that includes cabbages. The Chinese cabbages were not available in the Russian Far East. And that's why Goryeo saram people, they started to make their kimchi with European cabbages that Russians brought. And also carrots, they could grow quite a bit in that part of the world. And also there were a lot of seaweed in the Russian Far East because of it's ocean. It's a maritime province. So these Koreans consume seaweed. And now Russians would learn this seaweed eating from these Koreans. And also, they making kimchi out of cabbage, which is quite common for any Korean early migrants to America or to New Zealand and Australia. And I heard that even in New Zealand in early 1990s, there was no Chinese cabbage available in New Zealand. So Koreans who arrived in New Zealand as a first wave migrants, they made kimchi out of European cabbage, not 배추 kimchi, but 양배추 kimchi. And because carrots and potatoes were available, so Goryeo saram also adopted them. And also there were Chinese people, because it was originally the Qing territory, so there were some Chinese and Manchus. So these Koreans also learned some Chinese way of cooking, especially stir fry. And also, as I said, they consumed a lot of seaweed because seaweed is abundant in Russian Far East. And also bread came into their diet, which became an essential part of Goryeo saram and also Sakhalin Koreans as well, their diet. So for example, this famous Goryeo saram cuisine, on the left is, the Russians call it Morskaya kapusta, which means marine cabbage. So it's a very interesting name, but for Russians, this kelp or mi역 is a cabbage from the sea. And Koreans would make mi역 muchim or mi역채, and now that became an essential part of Russian culinary culture today. And also in Ukraine as well. Ukraine and Moldova, all these former Soviet Union republics, even today you get this. And another food Koreans made is, on your right, you see that's, Russians call it Koreyski markov, which means Korean carrot, or just carrot salad. And now that is these two are very interesting food that contributed to the diversifying the Soviet diet. And now in our third session, we will talk about the culinary changes after these Koreans from Russian Far East were forced to be relocated all the way to Central Asian republics such as Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan and Kyrgyzstan and even Turkmenistan. All right, so that ends the second session and week 10, which is regarding the Soviet Korean culinary culture in Central Asia. So, Jungwon, do you have any question or any topic that you want to discuss with me today?
Yes, I have a question for you.
Yes.
So I think compared to other Korean diaspora, we usually lack access to information on Soviet Koreans. So especially when it comes to Soviet Koreans' culinary life, I was quite surprised that they actually eat various banchan adapted to their own palate.
That's right.
So I was also particularly impressed by the kimchi and namul, which is made with carrot, which you've called as Korean carrot salad.
That's right.
Yeah, on a side note, honestly, I'm not a big fan of carrots. So for me, it sounds quite awkward when someone makes kimchi with carrots. So have you ever tried Soviet Koreans' carrot kimchi?
Of course, yeah.
So what does it actually taste like? And
Yeah.
do they really eat carrot kimchi as a side banchan of rice or maybe even bread?
I see. Yeah. Okay. Well, actually, carrot salad, which is like the thinly sliced kind of carrot, normally mixing with some vinegar or some spices. It's actually, that is not very unusual food in continental Europe. Actually, Germans have a carrot salad similar to that, and probably the Goryeo saram or Soviet Korean carrot salad was influenced by that. I'm not sure, but the way how they make it is, you put some vinegar, a little bit of vinegar, and some other spices, including a little bit of chili pepper. Okay, so it tastes a little bit sour because carrot itself is very sweet. So the sourness mitigate the sweetness, and salt, a little bit of salt, and so on. So it's really good. Once you start eating it, actually it's difficult to stop. And that goes very well with Russian bread, I would say. And Russian bread is different from other bread. Actually, when I say Russian bread, that's a Soviet bread because there was only one particular kind of bread in the Soviet Union. Okay? Now, it's a pure bread in a sense because they don't use anything other than wheat flour, salt, yeast, I think. They don't use preservatives at all. There was no such thing in the Soviet Union. And it is relatively whole grain with flour, so it tastes so good. And when you have salad like a carrot, which has a little bit of a sour side taste, and if you have any soup like Russian borscht soup or salyanka soup or just any kind of soup, bread, carrot salad, and soup, and that goes very well. I'm longing for that. And people like you who have a natural resentment of a carrot, you should try, and that may, guide you to the healthy road to carrot.
Oh, I mean, I can't imagine the taste of it, but I think that goes really well with breads and also the stew that you mentioned. So yeah, if I have a chance to maybe field work in Soviet Union and it's that part of the region, that might be one of the fantastic experience to try carrot salad, I guess.
To taste carrot salad, you don't need to go all the way to Central Asia. In Dongdaemun, we have a few Soviet Russian-style restaurants. Their Koreans sell that. And also Ansan, Goryeo saram also have a small enclave, but really the best place is Gwangju Wongok-dong-wan, and now that's big Koryo saram town there, and nearly 7,000 of them are living there. So you can enjoy all kinds of Koryo saram food as well as Russian and Central Asian food there. I strongly recommend you to go and enjoy your first carrot salad.
All right, so you've actually encouraged me to try new things of Soviet Unions, including the carrot salad. So
Very healthy.
yeah, I will try if I have a chance. Yeah,
Good,
thank you.
Good. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so that will conclude session 3, week 10 lecture on the Soviet Korean culinary culture in Central Asia. Thank you very much, and we will see you in our next session.